Hey everyone, it's Suey here, and today I thought I would do a quick monthly check-in and let you know what I read this month and what I plan to read in September, if I have any plans. Most of the time, I'm realizing I don't have a whole lot of plans. I just kind of see what happens, right? So, in August, I finished Demon Copperhead, which was the book that I was working on at the at the end of July. So I finished that like a few days into August. That one was on my Kindle, so I don't have a book to show you. I loved that one. I loved it. I did a review about it, so go check that out if you missed it. Real quickly, it's about a kid growing up in West Virginia, I think it is, Appalachian Mountains, Appalachia, they call it. So it's about poverty and all the struggles he and his family have, and him going from foster care to foster home to foster home. Nobody's really taking care of him. And how he ends up in the cycle of drug abuse that seems to be an issue that happens there, like a real issue that happens there, which made me crazy because he was so angry at his mom, and then he does it himself, and I'm just like, do you not see what you're doing here? Anyway, and so, but it does end on a very hopeful note, so I was glad for that because I was getting very anxious as I was reading it. I was like, please don't let me have invested all this time in this book just to feel devastated at the end. But it does kind of have a hopeful ending, even though it is still so sad. So, Demon Copperhead, that was my first book of August. But after that deep, dark, heavy subject matter, I decided I needed to read something a little lighter. And I found out that over at Mariandre's channel, she kind of does a YA August reading thing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read some YA books now, and I thought I would get in more, but I only got two really fun, fluffy YA books: The Way You Make Me Feel by Marian Gu, and Love and Luck by Jenna by Jenna Evans Welsh. This one is sort of a companion book. She has three books: Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and Love and Olives. So they're kind of companion books, kind of about the friends, right? So this one is about what's her name? Addie, and she is at a wedding in Ireland. Love and Gelato is in Italy, when her friend is in Italy, and now this is Addie. She goes to Ireland for a wedding, and she's supposed to go to Italy to visit her friend who's living there now. But things happen, and she ends up in Ireland with her brother, going on this crazy road trip, trying to see, they're doing a kind of a fanboy trip, seeing sites where their favorite band filmed things. I could totally relate. I've done the same thing myself, not in Ireland, but in LA. So I understood what they were doing. And they didn't want to get caught by the mom, who was also still in Ireland, because the mom thought she went to Italy. So anyway, there wasn't a whole lot of love in this book, though. There was hardly any romance. It was more about the road trip and about her relationship with her brother. The Way You Make Me Feel did have some fun, cute little YA romance. This one is about a girl who ends up working the summer on her father's food truck, and it is a Korean/Brazilian mashup truck. What's that called? Fusion. Korean Brazilian fusion food truck, because her dad grew up in Brazil, but he's Korean. Okay, so anyway, she and this girl get in this kind of fight, and they end up punishing them by making them work together in the food truck for the summer. And then one of the places they park their truck every summer across the way is this dude who is selling coffee and kind of I can't remember what his job is, but anyway, they start making friends with him, and he's adorable and likes our girl. And so he becomes part of the story too, and they end up entering a contest to see a food truck contest behind her dad's back, because he doesn't want to do it. It's to see if they can win him some money. And also there's a whole mom issue, and she ends up going to Mexico. And anyway, what I loved about this book, besides the cuteness and the fluffiness of it, was that every place they talked about were places I've been, which I enjoyed. Lots of it takes place in Pasadena, California, which is one of my favorite places in California. And then they go to Mexico and at a resort near Cancun, which I got to go to a few years ago. And so I could picture everything as she talks about the freeways in California and all kinds of places, Koreatown, of course. Anyway, so I love being able to picture all that stuff in my head and feeling like I know where they're at. This one was adorable, and I really enjoyed it. And Project Hail Mary became available on my Kindle, so I just read that one this past week or so. Loved it. I will do a video here in a minute reviewing that book a little bit more detail. But that one is by Andy Weir, who is the author of The Martian. So if you're a fan of that, you will probably love this one also. I thought it was a newer book, but it's like 3 years old already. So I kind of am behind, I think, as usual. But it's about a dude who is stuck in space. He wakes up and he doesn't know what's going on, and he has to remember why he's there. And he's there to solve a problem that Earth is having, and he doesn't know if he's going to be able to do it, and he feels like he's probably going to just die, but then he's so smart that he figures all these things out, and there's a ton of science, and he does all these things to make things happen and work. And there's a part that I won't talk about, but I will talk about it in my review with a spoiler warning. And anyway, I loved it, and I can't stop thinking about it. So those are the 4 books I read in August. Only 4, but 2 of them were big books. I did a big book summer recap that I will be putting up soon, if not already. So be sure to check that out so you can see what I read for Big Book Summer. And it also has a little summer compilation, images from my summer in there if you're interested in that kind of thing. So be sure to check that one out. As for what I plan to read in September, I did get this one started. It didn't make it for Big Book Summer, but I started it, and I want to see what happens. It's interesting. She is infected by an alien. So it's going to happen. So obviously, stuff happens. I don't think I'll finish it for September, but I will hopefully keep working on it. But another book became available on my Kindle, and that's probably going to take over for right now. And it is the second book in the Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I forget the actual name of it, but I've been dying to keep going on that series. I got the third one over here. It has the third one over here. I can't find it. I'll just put it up. The second book in The Darker Shade of Magic. So I started that one, and I'm sure that will take over my life until I finish it. And then also for book club, we are going to be reading Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I don't have it because Tori stole it. And hopefully she finishes it real quick and then gives it back to me so that I can reread it. I read this one years ago and absolutely adored it. So I'm excited to reread it for book club. And then what else am I going to do in September? If I do Rainbow Rowell and the Darker Shade of Magic book and keep working on this huge fat science fiction, that's probably all I'll manage in September if I actually do all those. But I feel like I might have to throw in some lighter-hearted things also, because all 3 of those are going to be heavy. You know I need lighter-hearted stuff, guys. I get so bogged down sometimes by the heavy stuff, even though I like it. So I was trying to think, banned books. Banned books is happening in September. Oh, okay, it's coming back to me now. I want to read some banned books. Maybe some stuff that's on the list that my lovely, lovely state has banned. You can go see a video about that also, where I share what those books are. But a lot of people are reading ACOTAR, also known as A Court of Thorns and Roses. I have read that one already last year, so if I can get my hands on it, I will read the second book, A Court of Mist and Fury. But it's kind of hard to find it. I don't know if I want to buy it. So I'm waiting for the library copy right now. So maybe we'll get to that one if it becomes available. Otherwise, I will read some other banned books. I might read Forever by Judy Blume, because I can't remember if I read that one. And I probably can find that one at the library. And maybe the second volume of the Heartstopper series. And that wasn't on the list, though. What else was on that list that I was thinking I would read? Oh, Crank. Crank is not particularly on the list, but one of the books in the series is, and I did start that one. I forgot all about that book. It's over there somewhere. It's my book that's just over there by the couch. So when I'm on the couch, I'll read a few things. That one I feel like I could get through really fast. It's kind of written in verse-ish. Not a lot of words on the page. So I did start that one. So I will finish that one in September too. And I know it's on a bunch, even though my particular Utah list has the third book of the series on it. I know Crank is on a ton of other lists too, which I want to point out. Everybody's making a big deal about this Utah list, but there are tons of other states with lists also. Don't forget this. Oh, I don't know why everybody's being like, well, Utah put 13 books on the list. Because, it happens everywhere, all across everywhere, all these other states. So I know Crank is on somebody's list. So yeah, I will read some banned books this month. I think officially banned books week is the last week of September, maybe. So I think if I do those, I will be doing really, really good. And then after that, it's October, and we should read some spooky stuff. I'll be thinking about it. Anyway, hope you guys had an awesome reading month. And until next time, happy reading.